Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Charlie, and this is City Skylines 2, Colossal Order's successor to City Skylines, which aims to improve the game in every way. Does it? No idea, but let's find out together. Special thanks to Paradox also for sending me out a copy early so that I could stumble around with the tools and systems that I haven't really seen in well over a year and get myself reacquainted with what it's like to design a city before trying a video for all of you guys. Speaking of which, this video is set up a little bit differently than my usual Let's Plays here on this channel. The trends of YouTube seem to suggest that most people don't actually enjoy long-form Let's Plays as much anymore, so I'm exploring this theory by structuring this video a little bit differently, just to see if this is a better pacing for the game, for you, for me, for the viewership, right? Especially at the beginning to get things moving along. So let me know in the comments if you enjoy this style of episode 1 more or the style of episode 2 more, because I'm doing each of them in a different format and each of them will be available for you to watch today, a couple of hours apart from each other, okay? It takes about 3 times longer to produce a video in this style than it does in the usual style of the Let's Plays on my channel. So if you do like this, remember that you'll get them a lot less frequent. Hopefully they'll be higher quality like this, but they'll be less frequent too. Playlist link is in the description if you're having trouble finding the second vid on the channel page. The only thing that's important to me is that you like what I make. That's it. That's all I want. So if this gets you to like and subscribe to the videos more frequently, I'll put in the time. Okay, so we're giving the city an unimaginative name of Char City for now. As you can tell, I've spent many hours and lost a few nights of sleep trying to think of the perfect name for this city, and I am super set on the name. Definitely not looking for your input, wink wink. Seriously, please, give me something. The game gives you 10 maps to choose from, and I've opted for Waterway Pass for a couple of reasons. For starters, it seems to have a railroad already pre-built through the map, so import-export rail access is included. Nifty. It also has a lot of buildable area and is mostly empty, which gives me a lot more freedom to design things how I want, as we can always add lakes and rivers wherever we want anyways. And it looks to me like this also has a healthy amount of resources on the map too. So when we upgrade our city to getting access to specialized industries, we can probably help in proliferating the sweet smell of money throughout the businesses. Because just because this isn't workers and resources, the other game I'm super into right now that's awesome and is night and day different from how this one is made, link in the description, doesn't mean I don't like getting resources to my workers. Before I build anything though, I do need to do a little bit of land shaping and scaping, just to get things a little bit flatter for my residents later, and when there are hills, making them a bit more gentle in hopes the aesthetic of the city isn't impacted by changes in elevation too badly. It technically doesn't reduce the effectiveness of the buildings that are created in zones, but part of this game is looks. So let's honor that by getting things off to a decent start and making sure that things are fairly flat. So we start on this little plot with river access, providing low-density residential housing areas along the water. This involves a bit more land shaping, and it'll be needed more and more as we buy more land, as I cannot yet impact the land that's outside my borders. This also gives me a way to cater to my zigs and zags desires right away. Yeah, I can get that out of my system slightly, and then begin laying in the greater city area that the bulk of the people will probably be in, conforming to the norms of straight lines and 90-degree angles that will allow me to collect the maximum amount of taxes for the limited space that I'm given. It's not all symmetrical or anything, but it's a good way to start the city, I admit. The game gives you 3 categories of zoning that is in demand at the start. Low-density residential, which is where people live. Low-density commercial, where people can buy stuff that they want. And industrial, where people can make the stuff that they'll sell to people buying the stuff. Industry tends to be dirty, especially at the beginning, so I'll be placing that far away from where people live, downwind, and they'll just need to travel farther to work there. It's all pretty simple, right? Well, kinda. We also need to provide power, water, sewage outflow, not to mention all the other municipal services that we're responsible for, like healthcare, road maintenance, garbage collection, police and fire, education, etc. And obviously, since we're an inefficient government entity, we're going to have to rely on grants from an even higher form of government to get this party started, since the money has to come from someplace and it isn't our own citizens, at least not yet. So as we make our city larger, we'll gain experience, and that will level us up, granting us a bulk of money, new buildings, as well as letting us buy more land to expand into. In City Skylines 2, the utilities have been greatly simplified from the first game, no longer requiring us to draw lines on the screen to lay in pipes or to connect a power pole to an arbitrary area that just happens to be zoned next to the rest of the zones. With this game, all utilities flow through the roads. So the pipes for water and sewer are already there, and the power flows through the roads as well. It doesn't, however, flow through highway roads, so keep that in mind if you're going to place highway roads that don't have zoning on them. They also don't carry utilities. But all roads that you can have zones on will carry the utilities as well, even gravel ones, which for some reason cost the same amount to ongoing maintenance as the paved roads with lights do. I don't know. Okay, sure. City buildings for utilities are really damn expensive, man. And I just don't collect enough taxes yet to justify the expense. So I'm also super minimal to start, with funding greatly reduced on all of these municipal buildings until I need to spend more. The city is going to grow some more, and I can see that people are really appreciating the housing by the water. So I give them some more space near this lake over here that our map already comes with, so that even more people can enjoy the peaceful beauty of this area. I also want to note that City's day-night cycle is very nice, but for video, night times are really dark. I love the immersiveness of it as a player, but I'll probably turn that off for videos in the future. It's just difficult to see, you know? If perhaps Colossal Order could design like a slider for darkness at night in the settings, that would be wonderful. Or perhaps I can find something in the game's folder and change the settings manually like I did with Workers and Resources. I don't know yet, but either way, beautiful game, dark nights, might turn that off. We'll see. Give me your thoughts below. As we level up, some citizens are finding that single-family residences are just a little too costly for them, and they need something that costs lower rent per month. I provide them with medium-density zoning so that smaller apartment buildings can be available, closer to their workplaces too, so that they can walk if it's close enough for them. I am in no financial place to provide public transportation just yet, so I'll be looking at buses and possibly trains as we get a few more thousand people paying me taxes. I like to mix and match commercial zoning within larger patches of residential as well, just so that people are able to get to places faster, more options for people. I'm sure that having a large commercial district is probably a good call, and eventually that'll likely be the case, but for now, the mom and pop shops near the mom and pop houses are good enough for me. I'm providing education with an elementary school and a high school. I'm also leaving a huge amount of space behind the high school because one of the things that you can do in this game, with most of your city-owned buildings anyways, is expand and upgrade them. The high school has a huge sports complex that can be attached to it, which provides a lot of outdoor recreation for citizens, but it takes up a ton of space. It also costs like $15,000 a month to maintain it, so until I have enough people for this to matter, I'll just keep the space open but not place it yet. I also apparently placed the industrial area road too close to the highway. It was causing some backup, and I just went ahead and redid it, giving them some distance. I also placed a larger roundabout now that I've got some points to unlock them. my city grows though, and my power imports start to cross me into like the 40 to 50K per month range, I begin to build some wind turbines over near the industrial area, in a place that maxes out the power production of the turbines. Each of these cost me $15,000 per month to maintain, but they've replaced like 25K or so worth of power draw, so it's worth it. Later on, it'll be even more worth it to build a more central power plant to provide potentially hundreds of megawatts of power from a single building. But for now, the small coal one that comes with the start of the game, it just isn't worth it. I recommend just hitting wind as long as you have like the maximum output for wind in an area. Also, throughout this design process, you probably noticed that I've mixed in the 2-lane roads with lights and the alleys that have 2 lanes but are narrower. This is so that I can have buildings like homes and businesses zoned off of the main roads, controlling destination traffic a bit more. Lots of yield and stop signs going in and out of these primary areas, but the bulk of the traffic flows through without lights and through roundabouts. Again, I'm sure that this will all get adjusted later, but it works well for a city our size now. I also am avoiding zoning right on arterial roads so that no buildings spawn on the large capacity roads, and so that I have room to expand those main roads even further later as more cars show up. In an effort to make my city more attractive for people to move into, I'm also placing a variety of parks and plazas around to raise the appeal of moving into my city, and also to somewhat control where people are moving into. It has an actual impact on citizen happiness and the attractiveness of land, which can directly impact level ups of buildings, so it's not just about looks. In the commercial areas, I'm also placing a few parking lots so that people don't have to park on the street only. They also pay me to park in these lots, so they are an added bonus for the city so long as they are used enough to offset their ongoing upkeep costs. Everything in this game costs money when placed and ongoing, so it's always important to manage the budget, at least until we're swimming in cash and can begin to appropriately fund expansions easier. As we level up further, we unlock the first set of specialized industries. I'll place lumber first and then stone after. I even designed the zones for lumber with the shape of a tree, just because. After placing the stone area as well and seeing that gigantic machinery representing it, I then hook up this new road to the highway as well, making it even easier for vehicles within the industrial areas to get where they need to go. Unfortunately, my current industrial area is directly over fertile land, which isn't going to be great. I'll be having to move my industrial park in later videos to make room for stuff that can actually work this valuable land, but for now, I'm also getting more land up near the stone, which is fertile land as well, and I'm placing grain farms up there. These specialized industries are great ways to make money by exporting out of the city, but they also make the industries that use these resources more profitable, as it directly impacts their cost of goods sold. The lower we can bring down COGS, the better off industries and commercial businesses in our city will be, and that profit will attract new competition into the marketplace within our borders. So I'll need to zone more commercial and industrial areas to meet that rising demand. That, of course, also increases the demand for labor. So essentially, by including a healthy supply of our own resources into the production chain for businesses, we raise the demand for every major zoning and resource type, and therefore increase the size of our city. And that means more tax dollars for us. I'm going to make some bridges here to connect this side over the water with the main city area, and I think long term this is going to be more of a concentrated commercial area with a bit of residential mixed in. But in the short term, I'm going to move some industry over here as a way of freeing up the other side earlier so that I can use that fertile land quicker. As I unlock more land in this direction, the industry will eventually move with it so that I can have industry and commercial fairly close to the railroad that's already connected with the rest of the world right here. We do actually end this play session with a pretty balanced budget, which I'm really pleased with. In the next video, I'll be taking you guys through the next stages of my city's expansions, as well as starting to move the industrial areas a bit, and I'll also be doing a little reshaping of this main highway to get ready for an expansion on the other side of it. Next video is in a more traditional Let's Play format than I've been doing for the better part of a decade on this channel, and again, I welcome your feedback on the format that you prefer in the comments. It's really all about a balance between how much detail you want to experience in the game versus how much progress you want to see in a video. The vibes are just different. The explanations as to why I'm doing certain things and all that stuff is sometimes missed in this type of format. So again, I'm an open book for you. Thanks for watching and liking and all that stuff. I do appreciate you, and I especially appreciate all you channel members over there on the right side of the screen that have helped to make this all possible. Bye-bye.